Last week we spoke to Miguel de Icaza and he said something that inspired me. He referred to code Katas. Katas being the drills or exercises one uses to build fundamental core skills. When you were a kid doing martial arts, katas probably look something like this.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
But here we're all about building great apps. So today's video is all about the code katas you will need to build some serious coding skills.
Remember to like and subscribe. Daddy, why didn't you tap out?
Welcome back, XDA crowd. My name is Jason. We continue our journey down the rabbit hole of code. And last week I did read your comments and feedback about needing more resources for new Android developers. So I have spent the past week doing some serious research. But to get all that, you have to go to xdadevelopers.com, the forums, and you go to the developer-only forums, and there'll be a sticky post there that has a plethora of links to a whole bunch of resources to learn Android, Java for noobs, and they are all for free. Check it. Free. Now listen to Miguel Icaza talk about learning how to learn and what it takes to become a master of your craft.
Well, actually, I just wrote about this a couple of days ago on my blog. I was actually complaining about sample, about books that teach and how little they teach. What I was just saying is you need to do a lot of exercises. My generation grew up with the original Karate Kid, and it used to be simple to tell people that the only way of becoming a good programmer was to follow the wax on, wax off thing from Karate Kid. But I'm sure that the modern generation, anybody that is younger than 30, probably doesn't remember this and only has seen the new movie. But it comes down really to exercising. It's a little bit like music. You need to exercise a lot. So what I would suggest really is start with our tutorials. There's step-by-step things that you can follow. I would start with the tutorials, build those apps, and then I would just keep adding features to these little apps, and I would keep building small apps. I would avoid trying to boil the ocean, which is very common for young developers to do. So young developers, don't try to boil the ocean. All developers already know the drill. But what you need to do is you need to practice a lot. And it's a fascinating world in terms of what you can do with these mobile devices, because it changed a lot. Like I was saying, it changed a lot the way that you develop applications. So there are new things that you need to be aware of. There's new APIs that don't necessarily work like traditional APIs. This whole thing about killing your processes or restarting your process, or having permission, right? So there's a lot of really neat things that you can do, and my advice is just to continuously be building little samples or continuously be exploring new APIs. That's the way that works for me, at least, doing a lot of little exercises. I mean, starting with the mobile platform, I remember that when I first tried to build an application, my experience was I was going to build a Mexican, so I'm used to Celsius, the metric system. And I said my first application is going to be a Celsius to Fahrenheit converter, just so I can better live with myself here in the United States. And I didn't go really far because I was afraid that I was doing it wrong, right? And I very quickly said, this is horrible, the way that I'm building this. I was creating with the interface designer every button and hooking up every method. It seemed incredibly lame. So I abandoned that. The next thing that I did is I actually started writing little samples. And I think that's the way that I really got into the hang of things, just writing little samples and learning the API. There's now this whole generation of people that are doing this thing called Katas to learn application development. I like those as little exercises. I don't know that there's enough of those for mobile development. Although we recently started our conference, we had this thing called mini hacks, and there were 6 or 7 little hacks that you could start. So learn to use Azure mobile services, right? Or learn to do an animation, or learn to do visualize maps, or learn to find all the hot dog stands within 10 miles, right? So there were kind of little exercises that you could build. And I think that you should start with those little exercises. They give you a very concrete goal, and you will be done in about 2 hours. In about 2 hours, you'll learn the entire pipeline from to get started, right? So from installation to get ready and running. So I really like our mini hacks, or anybody that's doing Katas for mobile development. So just take a challenge and go and build it.